Welcome to the Healing for Male Survivors podcast. This is a podcast for male survivors of sexual abuse and assault, whether as a child or as an adult. Know that you are not alone and the abuse was not your fault. My name is Mike Chapman. I'm a certified recovery life coach and also a survivor. Let's find hope and healing together. And welcome to the Healing for Male Survivors podcast. I'm your host, Mike Chapman, and today it's just me, no guest, and going to give you several updates on several different topics. So let's get started. First, I have an update on the Menéndez brothers. That seems to be a constant thing we're following here on the podcast. A recent decision, this is from a few weeks ago, could lead to the release of Lyle and Erik Menéndez. And what's happening is the Los Angeles Superior Court gave a decision a day after testimony was given by family members that the brothers had turned their lives around inside prison through education and self-help programs. And they urged the court to reduce the brothers' sentences for the killings they were involved with in 1989. And the judge ruled this was an absolutely horrific crime. I'm not suggesting they should be released. That's not for me to decide. I do believe they have done enough over the last 35 years to get that chance. And he said the brothers' futures would now be in the hands of California Governor Gavin Newsom and the state parole board officials. So what this means is they are now eligible for parole. I know from what I mentioned on previous podcasts, updating this, is that they had special circumstances, meaning that when they were tried in the early 90s, that they were not going to be ever eligible for parole. So they added a certain special circumstance. Normally, a murder case in California by someone who was under 25 would normally allow them after a certain period of time to be eligible for parole. That was denied for these two people, and they removed that and added that special circumstance so they would never be eligible for parole. What this judge did is then remove that stipulation of special circumstance from the sentencing, from their crime. So that special circumstance is no longer there. So they are now eligible for parole with time served that should have happened if they had not had that special circumstance. They would have had that qualification decades ago, from what I understand. So now they have to go through the parole board and so forth to try to get parole, but that was the first hurdle. So that's huge. So hopefully with the parole board and Governor Newsom, who has been very much against these guys getting out. So we'll see what happens with the parole board. If the parole board is recommending that, yes, these guys have served their time, they are eligible to be released. If that happens, do not know. So we'll see how that plays out in future days and see what's happening. And I will have more updates as they become available. So that was the first one, and I'm thrilled. I'm so happy for them and for especially how it brings to light the concept of coercive control in these types of cases, and that murder should be considered manslaughter because they're trying to, it's really self-defense. Because, and they mentioned in their testimony, they feared for their lives. They felt if they did not kill their father, that he would then kill them overnight. But because there was no weapon in the father's hand when that happened, then it's considered murder and not manslaughter or self-defense. So, not a lawyer, but that's how that's played out. And again, in the late 80s, early 90s, the concept that fathers sexually abuse their male children was quite foreign because men don't tell. Now, so many men have come forward to tell their stories, power of story again, to allow these things to come to light, to realize how heinous it is and how widespread the issue is. and the damage that it does to the victims. So glad for that. Topic 2. President Trump signed what's called the Take It Down Act, which it is, let me read this from an article. This is from Associated Press. The law makes it illegal to knowingly publish or threaten to publish intimate images without a person's consent, including AI-created deep fakes. So we're talking about all this AI technology, and that's out there. Someone could take your head, your face, put it on a naked body of someone else or an AI-generated naked body, and then with your image, people are using this so often these days to then blackmail someone. Hey, if you don't do blah, blah, blah for me, I'm going to post this everywhere. Especially teens are very vulnerable for this. Hey, I have this generated picture of your face on this body. If you don't do XYZ, this will go to not only your profile, but I'll send it to everyone in your school. Everyone will see this. And they're so embarrassed, even though it's not even them, it's their face, but they are horrified, and that there was like no laws in place to allow for that to be taken down. And the internet companies, oh, don't care. Oh, well, not our problem. Well, now it's their problem. So this will require websites and social media companies to remove such material within 48 hours of notice from a victim. So yes, it could probably be copied, people could download it, but it can indeed be removed. The platforms must also take steps to delete duplicate content. Many states have already banned the dissemination of sexually explicit deep fakes, also called revenge porn, but the Take It Down Act is a rare example of federal regulators imposing on internet companies. And this was championed by Melania Trump. Bravo, Mrs. Trump, a first lady who lobbied Capitol Hill on this, to see how teenagers are having to go through this. She says especially girls, but they go after boys too. And that there's stories of teens killing themselves, literally taking their own lives as a result of this horrible blackmailing scheme that's out there. And it's just horrifying. Stories after stories are out there where they use that. Celebrities too have had this happen to them also, where it's so easy with the technology to just put someone's face on a naked body. And yeah, it's just horrifying. So this is now federal law, and I don't know when it becomes active, but that's good to know. So they have to take it down, which is wonderful. So thrilled. But AI is just, there's good uses for it, just like any technology, just like nuclear fission. Yes, it can have nuclear power, which powers cities, or it can be used as a bomb to blow up cities. And it's neutral. What the whole Nobel Peace Prize, because I think he invented TNT, a huge explosive, thinking it would be used positively, but was used for war. So that's why the whole Nobel Peace Prize is out there, to celebrate those who strive for peace. So there you go. That's the updates for that. And technology can also be used for evil, as you can see. One other last update, that Michael Tait, T-A-I-T, he was a singer for both Newsboys and before that DC Talk, both Christian, contemporary Christian bands. And I guess from what I understand, about 6 months ago, he dropped out of Newsboys, saying that he had some issues he had to take care of. But the rest of the bandmates, it's like, oh, and they still never were able to replace him and his talent, from what I understand. But now he went to rehab, he got some help. It was unclear about what it was, if it was drugs, alcohol, or what. Now it's come out and there's been accusations against him, and he has confirmed that he had a lot of sexual misconduct allegations with men, including some who are underage. And timeout, that's cringy. Underage men, meaning boys, teenage boys, under the age of 18, teenage boys. He was being sexually inappropriate, sexually abusing teenage boys. along with other young men who were not teenagers. But the media says, yes, he was inappropriate sexually with several males, including some who were underage. Boys. He abused boys. They like to soften it. The media does this all the time. Don't know why. It's like underage women or underage men. It's like boys, girls. They're children. Yes, teenagers, pubescent, but still children. So they use those terms to soften it, to make it less, or that there's more consent or something. But no, a power dynamic is huge when it's a celebrity who has power over fans or whatever who come and just praise them as, hey, let's go do something. And then all of a sudden, this guy has power, he has money, he has an ensemble, and they can easily be taken advantage of because of the position that the artist is in. Happens all the time. And at least one Christian music station, K-Love, is now pulling, at least temporarily, all of the music from Newsboys in DC Talk. Huge library of music. They've been around for quite a while, many years, and it's sad. I understand it. I know personally, anytime I hear songs from Michael Jackson, songs from Hillsong, any of these bands, groups, Christian or not, who are then involved in scandals related to abuse of children, of boys, I'm horrified. I don't want to listen to it. It just is triggering for me. So anytime that stuff comes on the radio, and Michael Jackson's are pretty obvious when it's him singing, when it's Hillsong, I know most of their songs, and or if it pops up on the little ID of the station or the streamer or whatever that it's a Hillsong song, I skip it if I'm able to, or I'll change the station. Yeah, it's just triggering, and I don't want to honor them since they, yeah, I know people of the band weren't necessarily involved in this directly, but their leadership was. And yeah, horrible, horrible. So I'm bravo to K-Love for standing up and taking that music down, but it's sad that it comes to that. So that's the third update. FYI, this is the last episode for the summer of 2025. I will be back in the fall of 2025 with more episodes, unless breaking news comes out and I really feel the need to share my thoughts. And if so, I will. And I'm hoping to go video full-time for all episodes starting in the fall. That's the goal. However, if I do get someone who wants to share their story anonymously, I will still honor that. And we will do audio only or figure out some way around that to protect that individual and their identity if they wish to remain anonymous. And if you would like to join with me on future episodes, which we often record live, if you'd like to be in the live audience, you can learn more about how to do so at polarlifeconsulting.com/live. And also, I'm available for coaching if you want to learn more about that. And we have free 30-minute intro calls available where you can come and we can discuss what your needs are and how I can best meet those needs. Those are free. Sign up for that on my website, Polar Life Consulting, and we'll see you in the fall with more episodes of Healing for Male Survivors podcast. If you would like to learn more about my coaching with Polar Life Consulting, where I provide one-on-one coaching and group coaching, both with a focus on healing for male survivors, reach out to me at polarlifeconsulting.com. That is Polar spelled P-O-L-A-R. I would love to hear from you. I want to hear your story. If you would like your story featured on this podcast, contact me via my website. If you like this podcast, please rate and review because that's how other people can find me, and I really want to spread this message of healing and hope to others. And remember, you are not alone. Healing is possible, and the abuse was not your fault. Let me repeat that. The abuse was not your fault. See you next time on the Healing for Male Survivors podcast.